Welcome to the Sports Bash pre-show presented by Toast Coffee House. They are an award-winning brunch restaurant with 4 locations in Port Washington, Bayshore, Long Beach, and Patchogue. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. It's a day off for Vinny Tickets. WizKid Vinny is here with me today. Of course, it is a big day today here on the show because later on in the show, we're going to have WizKid in our great episode, which is called Stump the Wiz. So we've got a question. Are you ready for it? We've got a good question for you. I think you're going to get it.
Okay.
Sometimes we have this feeling on the show where I'm pretty confident you're going to get it. Then I'm pretty sure you're not going to get it. And then I'm like 50-50. Today I am not mildly. I am overly confident that you're going to get the answer correct today.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want any hints, right?
If you want to give me
No, I don't want to give you a hint. No hints.
Anything
Not unless you're sweating profusely with like 30 seconds to go in the in the 2 minutes segment, but we'll find out a little bit later on. We're going to be joined on the show today. Really special guest, Paul Vecchione, the CEO of LI Prep, which stands for Long Island Prevention and Resilience Enrichment Program. So many kids playing youth sports here on Long Island. The high school seasons and the college seasons are about to start. We're going to talk to him about what LI Prep does, and that is provide comprehensive mental health awareness and substance abuse prevention for schools and communities. So it's a huge topic of conversation, mental health with teenagers and our youth. So important. We'll talk to Paul about what his organization does, especially in light of the seasons getting underway in the next couple of weeks. As I mentioned, we're going to play Stump the Wiz. We're going to check out our Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll have this day in sports history. But right now, it is time for the Sports Bash Flash, and it's brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. And it was a lost day for the baseball locals yesterday, a lost night as well. We'll start at Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees lose to the Guardians 9-5 in 12 innings. The Guardians breaking a 3-3 tie with a 6-run 12th inning. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge back-to-back home runs in the first inning for the Yankees. It was home run number 45 for Judge, 35 for Soto. Yankees and Guardians again in the Bronx tonight. Now, the Yankees are a half game back of the Orioles in the AL East, because at Citi Field, my one-day love affair with the Mets came to an end because the Orioles beat the Mets 9-5. Mets were down 7-1 going to the bottom of the 8th, but they scored four runs, including a 3-run homer from J.D. Martinez. I thought when he hit that home run was to cap off that 4-run inning. I thought the Mets had a little magic going. Jared got excited watching that game last night, but then they played Little League Baseball in the top of the 9th inning, and the Orioles got 2 to put the game away. That was a disaster after Nimmo couldn't catch that fly ball. Then they start throwing the ball around the infield like it was a low-level Little League game.
Oh, my God. As you said yesterday.
Well, oh, my God, in the other direction.
Yeah, oh, my God.
So
not a good day for New York sports baseball fans.
No. Mets and Orioles wrap up their series at Citi Field this afternoon. Brings me to something that is going to go on today. So a few weeks ago, my younger son, Jared, and I made plans to go to the Mets-Orioles game today. And then I took a further look at the schedule, and I saw that the Yankees were playing the Guardians tonight. So I said to Jared, I said, how would you feel about a day-night doubleheader? We go to the Met game, and then we go to the Yankee game. And he said, well, if you can make that happen, let's do it. So we're doing it. We're doing both games today. As soon as I'm done with the show, racing home, getting him. We've got the bags packed with lunch and change of clothes because I can't wear my Yankee jersey to the Met game. So we're going to drive to Yankee Stadium, park the car. This is my wife Cheryl's idea. She figured out how we could make it to both games on time. We're going to drive to Yankee Stadium, park the car, take the subway from the Bronx to Citi Field for the Met game, then take the subway back to Yankee Stadium for the Yankee game, and then our car will be in the parking garage after the Yankee game is over to drive home. That's a pretty good day, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. That sounds pretty fun.
and with any hope, we could be good luck for both teams, because even as a Yankee fan, I'll be rooting for the Mets today because they're playing the Orioles. So we're hoping for 2 big local baseball wins. And if there's 2 guys who could get the job done and get the Mets a win and get the Yankees a win, it's me and my son, Jared. I think we can get the job done today.
If nothing else, you'll have a great outing with Jared.
Absolutely. By the way, quick, Long Island Ducks beat the Staten Island Ferry Hawks 8-6 in the Liberty. They also won last night. We're going to welcome our radio audience in right now.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media, the third annual Bowling for Wishes event. Let me start that over again. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media, the third annual Bowling for Wishes event is coming up this coming Friday, August 23rd at Levittown Lanes in Levittown. I'll be on hand with my family. It'll be a great night of bowling and fun, and all for a good cause. To purchase tickets, go to MartyLyonsFoundation.org. Marty will be there. Kenny Schroy, another former Jet, who's a bigwig with the Marty Lyons Foundation. They do great work, so it should be a great night at Levittown Lanes on Friday. And we're also brought to you by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. And a good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Vinny Tickets has the day off. Later in the show, we'll play Stump the Wiz. Wiz Kid Vinny is to my right. He's getting ready. He's got his computers working. His brain is going a million miles an hour. So we're getting ready to give him that question that he has not seen. And if our contestant who sent in the question stumps the Wiz, we have a fabulous prize for that contestant. We'll also have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll also have this day in sports history. But first of all, we want to take care of some very important business here on the show and a very special guest. Obviously, with high school sports getting underway, college sports, and also, little league fall baseball will be getting started soon. All kinds of other recreational leagues around the area here on Long Island, the tri-state area. Mental health and is so important when you think about kids playing sports and just really getting through life. And there's a great organization called LI Prep, and it stands for Long Island Prevention and Resilience Enrichment Program. And the CEO of LI Prep is Mr. Paul Vecchione, and he joins us here on the show. Paul, good morning. It's Peter. How are you?
I'm doing great, Peter. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's looks like a beautiful day. I'm going with my son to both the Mets and the Yankee game today, so we're hoping the weather stays just like it is right now for a nice, fabulous sports day here in the metropolitan area.
Beautiful. I mean, it doesn't get better than this today. We're going to be mid-70s out to Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. You go. So
yeah, it should be.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, should be a fun day. And to that point of talking about sports, as I mentioned, the high school sports season is right around the corner. Just high school in general, all the schools getting ready to get back underway, and sports is obviously a huge part of that. And we actually connected, a few weeks ago. Pioneer Sports did a clinic in Massapequa with Yankees pitcher Clark Schmidt. That's where we connected, and you had told me a little bit about what your organization does. So tell us a little bit about LI Prep and how you can help kids with their mental health and with substance abuse prevention as the season and the school year gets underway.
Sure. Thank you for that, Peter. And, we really did kind of put together some nice programs to help some kids, figure out how to find their way through some of the things that they experience, right, when they're in middle school, when they're in high school. And actually, believe it or not, some of these things actually come up before middle and high school. So, we have a 12, kindergarten through 12 curriculum that we address, addiction prevention and mental health. We have an intervention program where if there are, kids who are struggling, we kind of step in with a team and we put them on a plan with goals and benchmarks and a communication plan. so that parents are aware of, what's actually happening with their child. And then our third arm is a professional development and, like an adult education community awareness arm where we can kind of get the information out to the parents and the teachers and the community members because, I feel like when I first started Long Island Prep, a lot of people didn't know a lot about what was going on. So as an educator, that kind of teacher in me, one of the things that I think is most important is informing parents and informing teachers and informing the communities about all the things that are out there so that they can be aware of it, to help kids.
And I think when you talk about kids, sometimes things happen in school, and it's not just with sports. It could be just in the regular classroom setting. There's bullying and there's peer pressure. There's all these things that come with being a kid, and no matter what age they are, whether they're in elementary school, middle school, in high school, even in college. And there's so many things that can come up during the course of the day. And sometimes there are kids who just don't feel comfortable enough talking to their parents about it. So I would imagine part of the program, deals with, telling these teachers and be able to teach the parents to look for signs that maybe the kids are going through a little something difficult at school or in their life, that maybe the parents can pick up that something is wrong if the child is not going to the parents about it.
Absolutely. And, Peter, it's so important that we partner our parents, in our communities with our schools and our teachers and our education staff. Because if you think about it, the two people or, the two entities who are going to spend the most time with kids are mom and dad, or, who's ever at home, and the people at school. So when they are aware of things, when they have the information that, they need to identify if there's a certain thing that's said or a certain way, a child is acting, or if there's, a street name for a drug, for instance. That actually happened to me once when I was in the classroom. A student mentioned, street Xanax of some sort. Turned out to be fentanyl, but I was aware of it, so I was able to go through the channels there to kind of get his parents notified about it. So, it's those kinds of situations that arise that when we have the knowledge, when we have the information, we're just more, suited to help a child who might be in crisis.
We're talking to Paul Vecchione. He is the CEO of LI Prep. That stands for Long Island Prevention and Resilience Enrichment Program. And he joins us here on Sports Bash on this Wednesday morning. Listen, the last thing a school wants to have is a problem with drugs on campus or in the vicinity, or having a child that's going through something like this. And the last thing you also would want to see is, a school would not want to, turn the other way and just not try and deal with a problem. So when you're out there talking to the schools, and I know you're an educator in your full-time vocation, what's the message to the schools about the fact that this is a real problem, especially here on Long Island? You see, things on the news all the time about a drug issue at that school, or there was bullying going on at this school. What's the message like to the administration of these schools that you talk to about how important of a topic this is?
Yeah, and I think for first and foremost, we can't turn the other way. We can't bury our heads in the sand. We can't, act like not here. This isn't happening here. And I'll be honest, I do get that a lot. But the overall message is, hey, these things are out there. They're impacting our children in a major way, probably more than at any time in history, in terms of drugs and mental health. So we not only need to be aware of it, we need to be proactive. We need to be actively involved in getting the right programs into, the schools and the communities so that people can be aware of these things and, help a child. Because, if the school district and the parents are in the dark, kids tend to go down the wrong path when they, maybe not necessarily were going to do that,
Now, you do some great work with LI Prep, but you also have a podcast where you get your word out about what you do with that organization. It's called the Mission Z Podcast, Empowering Change. Tell people about that podcast and how they can access it.
Sure. So, again, just like you said, it's this overall message that we can empower our kids, we can empower our parents to, be in charge of their lives in a positive way. Because when we partner, kids and parents, teachers, educators, it definitely takes a village. Somebody smart one day said that. It wasn't me, but So, what we're trying to do with Mission Z is bring people on, bring people who are involved with kids, bring people who are, making a difference in their communities to tell us about it and tell us how we can help each other, help kids, and help, our society in general. So it's missionzpodcast.com. You can go on there if you want to check out some of our previous episodes and actually book yourself for a guest.
And last thing, Paul, how can people get in touch with you and LI Prep if you're a teacher, if you're an educator, administrator, a parent, and they want to get in touch with LI Prep? How do they do it?
Sure. Thanks, Peter. So it's just www.longislandprep.org. One word, longislandprep.org. You can get my email address and my phone number right there. And I'd be happy to speak to anybody who's interested in hearing about all the great programs, that's how we offer.
Paul Vecchione is the CEO of LI Prep, and we're so happy to have him on the show today. Paul, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing you again very, very soon.
Peter, I appreciate the opportunity, sir. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Awesome. You too. Paul Vecchione, CEO of LI Prep. And again, that's longislandprep.org. Still plenty more to come. Stay with us on Facebook and YouTube during the break. We'll have some more for you. And then on the other side of the break, we will have Stump the Wiz, This Day in Sports History, and the Sports Bash Media Poll Question. We're coming right back. More Sports Bash coming up after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Peter Schwartz back with you here on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. The Wantagh School District here on Long Island will host the inaugural Wantagh Warrior 9/11 Memorial 5K on Sunday, September 22nd on the campus of Wantagh High School. The race will honor the bravery and memory of those from the Wantagh community who were lost on September 11th, 2001. Wantagh Schools is honored and proud to have the Gary Sinise Foundation as the Gold Star sponsor of the race. More information on the event's Instagram page, which is at Wantagh Warrior _9/11_5K. So that's a great event that is coming up here on Long Island at Wantagh High School on September 22nd. So you want to make sure you check that out and help out a great cause that's coming up on September 22nd. Coming up on Sports Bash, we'll have today's Sports Bash poll question. We'll have This Day in Sports History. And also, it's time almost. The moment is fast approaching to play the game you all love, and that is Stump the Wiz, coming up in just a matter of moments. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. 631-451-1039 is the number to call here on the program. I'm Peter Schwartz. Vinny Tickets has this Wednesday off. Whiz Kid Vinny is standing by. We have a double shot of Whiz Kid Vinny today. We're going to have This Day in Sports History in a moment, and also Stump the Wiz. That is coming up. But first, the results of Tuesday's Sports Bash Media poll question. We post a new question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Yesterday's question: how much should Aaron Rodgers play in the Jets preseason finale against the Giants on Saturday night? Vinny Tickets and I yesterday were in agreement with that he should play one series, and I even went a step further, saying if the first series is 3 and out, give him another series. Where did you stand on that?
I said he's probably not going to play any series, but if not, it'd be nice to see a series.
I'd like to see him get one. My gut feeling tells me they're not going to play him at all, and that's where most of the people voted. He shouldn't play. 42%. You had 25% say 2 series, 23% said 1 series, and 10%. You people are on today, but 10% of the people wanted him out there for 3 series. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll be lucky to see him play one series. So now let's go on to today's poll question. And today's poll question, we're going to shift gears to hockey as we are just about a month or so away from the start of Islanders training camp. And as of right now, Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin, two longtime Islanders, are not currently signed. And there have been some mixed signals as to whether or not they'll be back on the Islanders roster this year. So that brings us to today's poll question. Should the Islanders find a way to bring back Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck? And the choices are yes, no, just Matt Martin, or just Cal Clutterbuck. Go to the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page and place your vote. You have the results coming up tomorrow. And now, before he participates in Stump the Wiz, our first segment with Wiz Kid Vinny is This Day in Sports History.
That's right. On this day in sports history, legendary MLB pitcher Raleigh Fingers became the first ever closer to have 300 saves for his entire career. That's right. This is when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Has one of the great mustaches of all times.
Lovely handlebar
Yes.
for those who have seen it. And it almost did not happen for him at that game because the Brewers were up 3-0. And then in the ninth inning, the Mariners tried to come back, scored 2 runs, but Raleigh Fingers was able to close it out just at the end before comeback had happened. And of course, 300 saves. We all know how wonderful he is, both in terms as a pitcher and, as Peter said, as a mustache.
Fantastic mustache, something to actually behold when he was on the mound. So, great job today on this. That's a great sports moment, no question about it. And now, it is that time of the week. It is the time where everybody is around their fireplace. It is the time that everybody, if they're outside and they don't have a radio, they will run into a store and listen to a radio. It is time for Stump the Wiz here on Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com. If your question was selected, and what we do is we ask you to DM your questions to the Sports Bash Media Facebook, Instagram, or X/Twitter pages, because we don't want Wiz to see the question in advance. That's what you do. You DM the question. We pick the best question. And if they stump you, they get a great prize. And today's great prize is 4 tickets, 4 of them, to see the Premier Lacrosse League semifinals at Hofstra on September 7th. It's a Saturday coming up in a few weeks. Glenn Goldstein from Flushing, a loyal listener and viewer of the show, has submitted this week's question. Sebastiano has 2 minutes on the clock. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to read the question from Glenn Goldstein in Flushing. Wants to know, who is the only player in Major League Baseball history to play in 150 games in a season, 13 seasons in a row? You're smiling? No, now you got that look on your face. Now I'm not so sure. We have 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go. Once again, the question from Glenn Goldstein in Flushing, who is the only player in Major League history to play in 150 games in a season, 13 seasons in a row?
I don't think it'd be Lou Gehrig. It could be, but I don't think so. It's at 150, so.
Down to 140 on the clock.
Willie Mays, why not? He just died.
That is correct. 30 seconds in.
Oh, that was
Wow. A big ovation for Wiz Kid Vinny with the 30-second response.
Wow.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm a little surprised. I was actually wondering Lou Gehrig.
See, I thought you were. Listen, 30 seconds was great. I thought you were going to know this in 2 seconds. Like, I really thought you were going to like.
Why?
I think that Sebastiano wouldn't even have hit the music when I gave the question before I said, and away we go. I thought you'd have the question.
Well, I had to make sure because, of course, Lou Gehrig is known for his long, continuous streak of being a part of every game.
I thought you might say Cal Ripken too.
I was thinking Cal Ripken, but I said, maybe I'll try somewhere in the middle. To see how that works. And he just recently died. And because you said, hey, maybe it might be easy. So I said, why not Willie Mays?
Yeah.
And it worked.
Absolutely.
It worked in the end.
Listen, it's a great question that Glenn sent in. And you know what I'm going to do? Because Glenn is such a loyal listener and a loyal viewer. He calls the show at least once or twice a week, right?
Oh, yeah.
He participates in all the things that we do. Glenn, just message me if you want to go to the PLL semifinals. I know he didn't stump you. But Glenn, and this is not just for sending in the question. This is just for you talk about a total resume of being a supporter of Sports Bash. If Glenn would like to go, to the Premier Lacrosse League semifinals on September 7th, just let me know and we'll get him 4 tickets. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's a
fine.
good thing.
That's
I know it's kind of like, bending the rules a little bit, but
Yeah,
I just
fine.
think he's been so supportive to the show that we'll just get him the 4 tickets anyway.
I'd give it to him. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd give it to him and say, hey, Glenn.
I'm not giving him 8 tickets. I'll give him 4. And if he only wants 2, I'll get him 2.
I mean, how many tickets he wants. If he wants just himself.
Well, no,
sure.
there's a limit. There's only 10,000 seats at Hofstra Stadium. I can't give him more than that.
I said if he only wants one, you just give
Well,
him
it depends what he wants to do. Listen, I'll leave it in his hands. Listen, Glenn, you can have 1, you can have 2, you can have 3, you can have 4. You just let me know. But great job. 30 seconds in, a fantastic job. We've got a great show coming up tomorrow, too. And anybody who has grown up loving sports, even if you love sports or not, you have to have seen the Harlem Globetrotters in person. You've seen the Harlem Globetrotters in person, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so much fun, family fun. You have to really sit up close, and that's what they have right now at the American Dream. It's an in-person residency that the Harlem Globetrotters are doing this week at the American Dream, and we're going to be joined on the show tomorrow by the president of the Harlem Globetrotters, Keith Dawkins, to talk about that residency at American Dream. I'm going to have to get Sebastiano the link to the Harlem Globetrotters music, right? Sweet Georgia Brown. I'm sure everybody's heard it. You've heard it, right? You've heard the music. All right, we'll find it, right?
Fantastic.
I'll send you the link to it later. So we're going to have some fun with that tomorrow. I've always enjoyed going to the Harlem Globetrotters. Whether Washington Generals always seem to lose. They're winning the whole game, and then they like figuring out a way to lose at the end. Oh, it's a 27-point shot right here now, and it's just always been so much fun. And
yeah, I mean, granted, it's always a great effort, and the Harlem Globetrotters are truly, truly, truly one of the most important teams in basketball history, regardless of how you frame it.
I've seen them at Madison Square Garden. I've seen them at Nassau Coliseum. Also saw them at your alma mater, Hofstra, because while the Coliseum was getting refurbished after the Islanders moved out, they had to come play on Long Island somewhere, so they played at the MAC at Hofstra. And that was really cool to see it up close like that, because there's only, 8,000 seats at Hofstra? Less than that, right? 5,000?
Around like 5 to 5,000,
So that was an intimate setting. So imagine what is going on at American Dream this week with all kinds of fun and excitement. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow with Keith Dawkins, the Harlem Globetrotters president. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and by Collaborate Studios. So, thanks to Wiz for a great job on Stump the Wiz in this day in sports history. Vinny Tickets will be back with me tomorrow. I'm Peter Schwartz for our entire crew. I would like to say thank you for watching and listening. Also, thanks to our guest, Paul Vecchione from LI Prep. Great job on that interview as well. A great cause, and make sure you want to check out his work online and his podcast as well. So that will do it for this edition of the show. We are back on a Thursday morning tomorrow to recap the Mets and the Yankees. Let's go Mets against the Orioles. Let's go Yankees against the Guardians. We'll see you on Thursday morning.